Alrighty guys, it's Evan from riversedgecutlery.com. Today we have an interview with Andrew Demko of Demko Knives. Thank you so much for meeting with us.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
As you can see, we're on the showroom floor, Blade Show 2021. This is day one, Friday. So pardon the noise, we're gonna do the best we can. So we'll jump right into it, but give us a little bit of slack on the audio here. So just a few questions. I know we're busy. We got stuff going on, so we're making it a little bit more casual, a little bit easier to film today. Just first off, how did you get started in the industry?
I have always been a knife nut since I was a little kid. Always. When I was like a toddler, I found a penknife, and it was so dull. My parents let me do whatever I wanted almost.
Absolutely.
And I carried it around, and huge knife fan.
Yeah.
And in 7th grade, we had metal shop. We forged chisels. So we forged a chisel, and to pass the test, you'd heat treat it. Forge it and heat treat it. It had to cut through the mild steel bar, and it will do that. You know, a real chisel, a cold chisel, and it was awesome. And I was like, this is how. My teacher's like, oh, this is how you make knives. And I was like, whoa. And so since 7th grade, I've been working on knives.
That's cool.
Yep.
They don't really do that kind of stuff in high school anymore.
No, it's too bad.
That is too bad.
Yeah.
Those trades are kind of dying off. That's pretty cool. Second, when you were first getting started, I know you started in 7th grade, but when you were first really getting started, who were your biggest influences in the knife world?
Well, I was always into locking mechanisms.
Yeah.
So when I was a senior, I started trying to make a lockback knife and liner locks. And actually, I used to see the cold steel videos of the knives that would hold, the old Voyagers would hold like 80 pounds on it. And I was like, wow, what if I could make a knife that would be stronger than that? And they were, I don't know if they were the strongest at the time, but they were advertised as such.
Sure.
And I was like, man, I think that's something I'm interested in.
Absolutely.
So, and since then, I made my first locking mechanism in 1993.
Okay.
And that's really my main thing, is trying to make functional knives with locking mechanisms.
That's really cool. Awesome, man. So that actually leads me to my next question. I know a lot of guys are out here doing kind of form factor design when it comes to knife making. You set yourself apart by designing locking mechanisms. How did you get into that? How did that become your main focus?
Well, my only skill in life is tinkering with stuff and figuring things out. Like, I'm really good at that, but I'm really horrible at other things. When I worked for Cold Steel, Len used to joke around. He said, "Don't ask him to read, write, or spell, but ask him to design a knife or a locking mechanism. He's the guy."
Yes.
And I'm happy with that.
That's cool, man, because that really is what sets you guys apart.
Yeah.
At Demko, that's really cool. So, just a couple more. What were some of the either pitfalls or difficulties of moving from small batch stuff to moving into doing knives with a large manufacturer, like you're doing with the 80-20.5s?
Well, the really hardest thing is funding it.
Yeah.
Because to make like the 20.5, to make that knife, well, there's a lot of tooling.
Oh yeah.
And it's over $30,000 in tooling. And for example, the locking bar, the locking member, whatever that's called, it's not really a bar. It's metal injection molding, and that tooling alone is over $10,000 just to make that. So, fortunately, I had a great relationship with all the manufacturers, because I worked for Cold Steel for 16 years, and I have a lot of contacts. So that really was my foot in the door there.
That's really cool.
And I funded all that with my custom knives.
Yeah.
And I really firmly believe that if anybody wants to do that type of thing, you have to make one knife and sell it.
Yeah.
You got to keep a little bit of that first knife. And then you sell 2 more knives, you keep a little bit, and pretty soon you have enough funding for yourself that you can then apply to. I used to buy sheets of steel, and like we sell here, a bar of steel.
Yeah.
And then I switched to sheets of steel, and then I got the pellets of steel.
Yes.
So I mean, it just you have to take little steps. When I was 16 years old, my parents said, "Well, what do you want for Christmas?" I got a drill press. because I had been using a hand drill,
Yeah.
you know, a power drill. I'd stand on my work desk and try to drill
Bear
through.
down on it with all your.
I got my drill press. And I always tell people also who want to get in the business is, I used to look at the Grizzly catalog.
Yeah.
They have a milling drilling machine. At that, you know, this is a 95. This is like $1,200. You know, it's like unattainable.
Absolutely.
Like $1,200.
Out of the ballpark.
Yeah. So it was like, man, if I only had this.
Yes.
Imagine what I could do.
Yeah.
I ended up buying a used one for like $600, and it was still the biggest investment.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now, through this progression, now I look at stuff like wire EDM, $120,000. You know, but
that's the next.
At one point, the $1,200 it was like the $120,000.
Exactly.
But, you know, you just have to build.
Is
up
that sliding scale?
Yes.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite materials to work in?
Steel-wise?
Steel-wise, handle material-wise, you know, whatever it takes you.
Well, I really like G10.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. It is so amazingly strong.
It is.
You know, when I was doing the triad lock for cold steel, we were always, you know, the blades always broke before the G10 frames failed, almost always.
Yeah.
Now, if the blade was a real big, giant, thick blade, the G10 fails first. But typically, the normal 4-inch knife, the G10 breaks or is stronger. The double shear strength of that through the pin, it beats the steel tang of the knife. And it's every time we do that test, it's amazing.
So you're saying it's stronger than it gets credit for?
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's unbelievably strong.
Yeah.
Unbelievably strong.
It is a great material. And how about steels? What's kind of your favorite steel to work in?
Well, you know, I don't have a favorite steel, but I love so many steels. You know, right now we have, I think, probably, you know, we do the DMG, the 8020 MG line. We probably have 6 different steels on the shop floor right now.
Awesome.
I mean, I have CPM M4.
Okay.
I have Crewwear. I have MagnaCut. I have 204P. 20 CV and M390. It's all the same thing, and I have all 3. That's awesome. I have LMX, if I didn't say that, and I have D2. And all of those steels right now are all being produced because I'm really into steel. That's my brother. He's like, well, I'm like, I don't want to buy that steel. He goes, well, you don't mind buying steel.
You don't mind buying steel.
You're right. I don't. I love it.
The world is not ready for a Demko in MagnaCut.
Well,
that is going to break the internet.
You know what? I was only able to buy 6 sheets, but I bought it. And you know what? Probably on paper now. It's like the winner for my type of knife. Yes. If you're making maybe a smaller knife, you can maybe say 20 CV, you know, for edge retention. But MagnaCut is kind of winning right now as far as it's the total package.
I remember a long time ago, Mike, the owner, sent me an email of the Knife Steel Nerds write-up of MagnaCut, and I was just like, where has this been? It's going to be incredible. Incredible. And just to see it being rolled out, I know there's a couple blades that are coming out here at Blade Show this year that are going to be rolled out in MagnaCut. Just to see it in person, it's like, I think it's going to be the next generation, really, of powder metallurgy.
We brought 6 MagnaCut blades here, and those dudes were camped out last night.
I know. I know. Those are the guys running in when the doors open. That is awesome. So just a couple more. If you had a holy grail knife, either one to buy or one that you'd make yourself, what materials would you be using? What would it look like? Just generally, what would your holy grail knife be? No cost prohibitions, anything like that.
That's a tough question.
Oh yeah.
Probably for me, if I would make myself the 4-max size shark lock. Okay. The 4-max size 8020, and I would make it in MagnaCut for me. That would be cool. Now, barring that, what I would really want, if you gave me the wish, is I would look for a tomahawk because I love tomahawks. I don't know if you know, I have a thing for tomahawks. Okay. And I have more tomahawks than anybody needs. But they're so cool, and my main interest is something that was actually historically correct. Not that I care, I'm not a snob like that. Yeah. But why I like that is because I wanted the tomahawk that was actually used in the Revolutionary War times. Like people actually had to carry and use. Yes, absolutely. Use to build a fire, use to defend themselves. Yes. I want the real deal because that's the proven one. Whatever. That's what that interests me. That's a holy grail blade. That technically qualifies. It is. Yeah. I love it. I'd say so. Yeah. And then lastly, what's in your pocket? I have a regular 8020 IBG, and G10.
When we got our first shipment of these at the store, it was like paradigm shifting. When people would come in, like they would say, I saw you got these in, can I hold one? And then just the first time opening and closing with that locking mechanism, it just changed the way they perceive a locking mechanism. These are awesome. I wish there were more of them out there.
Well, we're working hard on that for sure.
They are just awesome, awesome blades. This one and then the full titanium version, if I would have had $625 in my pocket when those came in the door that day, I would have bought one.
We get more requests for the Altai for sure. You know what? It takes we can make 4 or 5 of these, machine all this before we can machine the Altai.
Yeah.
So we're like, yeah, let's sell 4 of these or 5 of these.
So maybe that cost isn't even representative of how much more work it takes, because it's, what is it, about $175 more than the G10
200
version?
more, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a pretty fair price.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I see a trend almost in the whole knife community of moving towards new and different things, a lot of the times more high-end stuff, more recently, and the full tie stuff is the first to go.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And that one in particular, great knife.
You know,
fantastic.
The Altai has a coolness factor that
it does.
It will never go away.
The sound.
Yeah.
The sound of that full tie opening and closing was awesome. So, Mr. Demko, thank you so much for giving us your time today. Really appreciate it. Do you have anything you want to promote?
Well, we have a lot of 80-20.5s.
Okay.
Our new Taiwan line it's not going to take away from any of our American-made stuff. You know, people were worried about that.
No.
That is in addition to and not in opposed of anything we're doing in-house. So
good.
Because there was a lot of times in my life when a $425 knife was out of this world
Absolutely.
too. So yeah, I want to give great knives to everybody. So I'm trying to get all the price
It gets
ranges.
your blades into more people's hands. That can't be a bad thing.
Right.
And I've handled them. I haven't had the chance to use any of them, but I've been handling them. They're fantastic. They are fantastic. I like how they're a lot slimmer. That wasn't really carried across in photos very well. And then just being able to hold them in person, like this is so thin. Like this is a very easy to carry EDC blade.
And that's a tough thing for me.
Yes.
Every time I draw the ideal knife, guess what? It gets
thicker,
to be a
thicker,
6-inch blade and a giant handle.
Yes.
So I have to not leave these parameters. It has to be, you know, whatever.
Who's reining you back in? Who's bringing you back in to making knives like
now it's myself.
Okay.
You know, so it's a miracle that I was able to do this.
And they are awesome. We're definitely going to be picking up some to take back to Ohio.
Thank you.
Because, you know, people ask for them constantly. Phone calls, emails, DMs, all the time.
Wow. Good.
Yes. Your name is so far out there right now. Do you have any socials you want to promote?
Well, we have our Demko knives.
Okay.
And our Facebook is Demko Dynamics.
Demko Dynamics.
Which is a cool name. And I didn't even know. I saw this sign, like, what the hell's Demko Dynamics? Because I don't get involved. I don't have Facebook.
Yes.
You know, it's my brother and Billy. And I was like, hey, that's an awesome name.
Like, yeah, man, that's your Facebook.
Yeah, that's my Facebook.
Well, thank you very much again. All right, guys, thanks for joining us for that interview. We'll bring you guys some more content from Blade Show 2021. Talk to you guys soon.